Have you ever had that feeling where you're talking, but you can just tell that nobody's really listening? We've all sat through presentations that just fall flat. So today, we're going to break down how to create presentations that don't just share information, but actually inspire and transform your audience.
Yeah, does this endless sea of bullet points look a little too familiar? That feeling of sitting in a dark room watching a speaker just drone on and on, slide after slide of text? We've all been there. And you know what? It's a huge waste of everyone's time. For some reason, the standard for presenters has become this. We just hide behind a wall of facts and figures and jargon. We kind of think that if we pile on more and more information, our point will get stronger. But usually, it just puts everyone to sleep. But what if, instead of burying your audience in data, you could actually take them on a journey? What if a presentation could feel as engaging as a great story or a movie? Well, it absolutely can. So let's start by really defining the problem. We're stepping into what you might call the ordinary world of bad presentations, a place author Nancy Duarte perfectly describes as the bland leading the bland. And the issue really has two faces. On one hand, you've got a total failure of story. Presenters are just hiding behind corporate speak that doesn't mean anything to anyone. And on the other hand, you have a failure of design. Slides that are so cluttered, they're literally impossible to understand. It's a problem that hits both what we say and how we show it. So how do we fix this? Well, the solution starts with a pretty fundamental shift in how we think about presenting. It all comes down to one simple, really powerful idea. This right here is the single most important mindset shift you can make. You, as the presenter, are not the hero of the story. Your audience is. Your entire presentation needs to be built around their journey, moving them from where they are now to somewhere new. So what's your role? You're the mentor. You're the guide. Think Obi-Wan Kenobi to Luke Skywalker. Your job is to equip the hero, your audience, with the tools they need for their journey. And those tools, those really powerful gifts you're giving them, are story and design. Okay, so let's unwrap that first gift, story. Let's look at the underlying structure that makes stories so powerful and how you can use it for any presentation you give. Every great story and every great presentation starts by establishing the current reality. This is the what is. It's the world as your audience knows it. The problems, the status quo, you have to meet them where they are. And then you contrast that reality with a picture of a much better future. This is the what could be. This is your big idea, your solution. It's the promised land you want to take them to. Now, the real magic happens in the gap between these two states. A truly great presentation doesn't just jump from the problem straight to the solution. No, it moves back and forth. It constantly reminds the audience of the problems of today and then shows them the promise of tomorrow. It's this back and forth that creates contrast. It creates tension, and it pulls your audience along until you finally reach the end, a vision of their new bliss. Now for that second gift, design. Story gives you the map, but design is what makes that map clear and easy to follow. And listen, you do not need to be a designer. You just need to know 4 super simple rules from Robin Williams' classic book, The Non-Designer's Design Book. And they are proximity, which is all about grouping things together. Alignment for creating clean, strong lines. Repetition to create a sense of unity. And contrast to make the important stuff really pop. Just remember the acronym PARC. I promise, once you see these principles, you'll start seeing them everywhere. So proximity is as simple as it sounds. Just put related items close to each other. I mean, look at the list on the left. It's a total mess. But on the right, just by adding some space and grouping things logically, boom, it becomes a clear menu. You didn't change a single word, just the spacing. Next up is alignment. This one is a game changer. Nothing should just be randomly placed on the page. So instead of that weak, centered alignment that kind of looks amateur, connect every single element to one strong line, either on the left or the right. See how that simple shift makes it look so much more professional? And finally, we've got the power couple, repetition and contrast. You want to repeat elements like fonts or colors to create a sense of unity. But, and this is important, don't be a wimp with contrast. Make the important things really different. Big versus small, bold versus light. That's what grabs the eye and makes your design exciting. Okay, so you have the story structure, that whole journey from what is to what could be. And you've got the design tools, proximity, alignment, repetition, and contrast. The big question is, how do we put them all together? All right, let's see how this actually works in practice. This is where we combine that map of story with our tools of design to create something really powerful. Okay, so here is a real sentence from a real presentation. Brace yourself. It's dense, it's packed with jargon, and it feels like all the humanity has been completely sucked out of it. It's the perfect example of a presenter hiding behind a wall of words.
Now look at this. This is how you communicate that same idea, but with story and design. It shows that over half an income is spent on housing. It doesn't just state a fact, it makes you feel the weight of that fact. And that's the key. Stop just presenting data and start giving it meaning. So there you have it. The two gifts, story and design, are now yours. You have the framework to take your audience on a real journey, and you have the visual tools to make that journey crystal clear.
Always remember, every single time you stand up to speak, you are asking for change. You're inviting people to leave their ordinary world behind and join you in building a new one. Your job is to make that journey worth their while. So you've got the map for the journey. You've got the tools to build the ship. The only question left is, where are you going to take people? What world will you change?